So my name is Ellen Wanjiru. I'm with
Hi.
film.com, and I'm joined by the one and only Stan Shaw, who stars in the new horror Western film, The Pale Door. Thank you so much for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, so what I liked about The Pale Door is the variety of extremes, from outlaws to witches, good and evil, women against men, against mythical creatures. Um,
Yeah.
so I'm curious as to what drew you to this project and this role.
Well, in addition to what you've said,
Right.
um, I like the brilliance of the screenplay and its creator, Aaron, was uh, he's a great visionary. So I love what he put on paper. And if it's not on paper, it's not going to be on screen. So that drew me to it in the first place. Then the ensemble of great young actors that were put together in this project to um, to make it pop was pretty fantastic. And I love the places that my character Lester went in order to bring you. I look for different things in my performances or what's written on paper for me to perform for an audience that I can help excel the picture. And I saw all of those ingredients combined, along with the different special effects and the wardrobe, the camaraderie. All of that drew me to wanting to be a part of this. And of course, when you're offered something and it's amazing, you jump on it with all 4 feet. So,
Agreed.
so that was an honor.
And so, speaking of your character, Lester, who is a part of the Dalton gang, but what I thought was
Mhm.
also pretty fascinating about your character is that you also act as a paternal father figure to Duncan, played by Zachary Knighton, and Jake, played
Yeah,
by Devin Druid. And one of my favorite scenes was when Duncan made Lester his number two, and Lester assumed that position seamlessly. What
yeah.
was what was his motivation for being so loyal to the Dalton family, no matter what?
Oh, you saw the film, did you?
I saw the film, and I
Oh, okay.
enjoyed it.
Okay. Okay. Well, because he'd known these guys since they were kids, they were babies. His responsibility um, was a natural growth of my relationship with them from childhood to these young men. Uh, that's why he chose me as number two because he knew my capabilities. So what drove me to being responsible for them in their lives and what we do um, was the camaraderie we've had since they were children, and my knowing them and them knowing me.
Mhm.
So that's what drove the father figure in that character to take care of his brood. It's not unlike a lion that takes care of another cub or that type of thing in the wilderness. So when they had things against them, I was the glue to make sure they survived what they're going through. And I did my job well because it was an integral part of who Lester is as a human.
And that came across very well, the mutual respect between the two boys, and you to them. For me, that was the most heartwarming part of this
Yeah.
horror Western film. So, job well done. um,
Awesome.
Director Aaron B. Kuntz decided to bring the two genres, the horror Western genres, together, because he believes outlaws and witches have something of a kinsmanship with one another. So,
Mm-hmm.
how did the cinematic history between outlaws and witches help you prepare for this role?
Well, those are my two favorite genres, and to have them combined when I read the script, it just
Oh, nice.
I
Okay.
was blown away because I horseback ride and I love riding. I've been blessed to do a couple of westerns in my career, and I've just recently gotten a position for doing horror films since Monster Squad and Jeepers Creepers 3. So I'd always wanted to be a part of that genre. And when I was offered this, and my manager said, pretty much what you said, it's a Western and it's horror and it's cowboys and witches. I went, whoa, 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 whoa. And they said, they want you and it's an offer. And I said, okay, I want to read this, but let's do this. That
Mhm.
was before I saw anything because I just love that mixture. And I got the screenplay and started reading, Aaron's conception of his vision. He's a visionary and he's a brilliant mind and a brilliant filmmaker. And so the collaboration I had with him about where we should go with my character as it pertained to being a part of the ensemble, uh, he's open enough to want you to be fantastic in what he's created, and that's rare when you meet someone who's created a product and you come on a set and their interest is making the whole thing shine, or making the whole thing grow. And I just wanted to be a part of that because that's how I like working. You give and you take, and it takes a whole village to produce a film, to make a film. And I felt that ensemble with my my partners in crime. And the biggest blessing there was no ego involved. Everybody had their own thing, and when we came together on camera, we were together on camera, and that was a blessing. And it shows in the work that we created. So that's what made me wanted to do that, was my creating the two genres together in my mind, because as a child, you know, cowboys and Indians and horror films, and you know, the Wolfman meets Frankenstein and that whole thing. That's my meat. And, I was like, let's feast on this, you know, put some steak sauce on it.
That's right. That's right. Actually, that was going to be my next question. You know, does this love for horror westerns stem from childhood? And I think you just answered.
It does. My mom took me to my first horror film, and it stuck with me. I was a huge fan of everything horror, especially Frankenstein meets Wolfman, the Dracula series, Bela Lugosi. You know, anything that had special effects that could take me out of where I was and pull me into a story and make me afraid was powerful to me. I was like, this is great. I remember when my mom took me to see House on Haunted Hill, and it was the first time 3D I'd seen 3D. And the skeleton started, you know, we're watching the film, the skeleton started coming off the screen, and in the audience, all the kids in the theater screamed and was running out. I was on the end seat, so I took off, and I felt my arm, and my mother snatched me back and said, boy, if you don't sit down. I'm like, Mom! So that's always stayed with me. If you could make somebody feel that, that's fantastic. So I've always wanted to be a part of that fraternity, that genre, to bring goosebumps to people and to make them see what I've been fortunate enough to develop and put on screen, the writer's concept when he was putting pen to paper. So that was a big part of my wanting to be a part of that. Because if you scare the hell out of somebody, or if you make somebody laugh until they cry, or if you make somebody cry when you die, you got all that going. So I just love that whole thing. It's the emotion that you're able to infuse in people, because people go to see film or to be taken away from what they're doing.
Yes.
And it's my job to take you with me for the moment that you're watching me until I release you and you go home. And that's a powerful, powerful commitment to have with an audience. So it's my job to make sure that everything I do gives you everything you want for putting your money down to see what I'm doing.
Well said. Well said. I look at film as the great escape. As I was watching The Pale Door, you know, there were times where I had my hand over my eyes, you know, just afraid to see what's going to happen next. There were times where I chuckled. There were times where, you know, my heart was pounding. So I felt everything I was supposed to feel.
Oh, that's great. That's great. One of the great things about it as well is when I was filming it, I didn't want to see what was happening next. And so a lot of times, like the special effects and things happen, when you see my reaction to it, that's my first time seeing that, because I wanted that freshness of it. So you're doing something and all of a sudden it's like that, and you have to deal with that. And that was one of the wonderful things about making this film, because there's always a moment, a shock moment to for your character to fall in line with what he's supposed to, in terms of what Aaron created when he was thinking of making this film. And the great thing about it is everybody fell into that line in order to make you do this and look at it through your fingers. Because, you know, that's better than an Academy Award. You know, you just, hey, man, I saw your film. I'm like, you did? Yeah. I was like, yes. You look through your fingers? You know, and some of my followers on Twitter was like, Stan, I don't go to these movies. And she said, but I will be looking through my fingers to see you. So I'm like, well, thank you. Make sure you have your nails done. Just look through your fingers, baby. Go ahead. So,
Listen, I pushed through the horror, but I think it was job well done in the effect of
mhm.
fear. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and so great segue.
Yeah.
While you've acted as a cowboy and in horror films before, this is your first time acting in horror western combined.
Yes.
And so
Yes.
how would you say this film experience has differed from other projects?
Well, it's because it's one of my great loves,
Right.
to ride horses and to be in something that's scary, and to have that combined with witches. And our witches are different than witches that you've seen before. We've never
Yeah,
seen witches like in the Pale Door.
not
And when
quite.
you see these witches, you're like, what the hell? I
Right.
didn't know witches could what? Forget the vampires and all that stuff. Witches rock, you
Yes,
know. And when you see them coming at you, the way that Aaron has devised them to be a part of the storyline, how heavy it's involved with the characters and their fear factor of these things that they're seeing that they've never seen before. It's one of the most amazing, as an actor, feeling ever, because you're not only projecting what you want to project in terms of you, the audience, seeing what's happening with me, the character, but I'm seeing things I've never seen before while I'm filming as well.
hmm
And so my reaction to that is fresh, and it's true, and that's a blessing. So when you combine the two, and you give me a horse, and you give me a gun, and I'm a bad guy, man, please.
My favorite scene was the witches crawling on the ceiling. That took
Yeah,
me out. Right?
yeah,
That's not the norm for a witch. That might be the norm for a vampire or some weird creature. So I
yeah,
liked that new dynamic
yeah.
for
I'm
witches because
telling you, witches are amazing. I mean, theatrical witches. So
right,
if there's a real witch out there watching me, don't find me. I'm talking about in the movies. Witches are like, they rock. But
right.
so don't come up to me if you're on the street and go, I hear you like witches. No, no. Witches in film, they're terrific, especially when you can see something different. Because I think as filmmakers, the job is to have you come in, take your hat and coat off, and sit down and show you something that's never been seen before. Let you be a part of an experience that you haven't experienced before. That's the beauty of making films. And that's the beauty of having camaraderie with an audience, because they depend on that. And when you deliver that, it's just one of the most amazing highs ever. And the Pale Door does that. Uh, I think that the film going public, be they American or foreign, are going to fall in love with my game. My
For
my
sure.
bunch of partners in crimes are amazing.
For
So
sure.
yeah.
And the trailer, I mean, the trailer does such a good job in pulling us in, the audience.
Mhm.
I read some feedback from people that are, geeked up to watch this, and
Yeah.
everyone's excited about the trailer. Everyone's excited about this movie, and
That was really a shock to me on my Twitter and my Instagram, when people
yeah,
just started coming on talking about, man, I can't wait. I can't. I'd never had this much, and I've done a lot of films. I've never had this much enthusiasm about a picture before it opens, ever, ever.
there's
I mean,
there's a
from all
cult.
types of people.
Yeah, I mean, there's a cult following for horror western. That genre is super popular. And
Mhm.
we haven't seen too many films as of recent of the two genres combined. So folks have been bloodthirsty for the
That's a
show.
good term, man. Bloodthirst. Yes, I got it. That was good.
So folks are geeked up, and it comes out in theaters and on demand on August 21st. So if you could just sum up a couple of words of what the audience can expect from this.
I think you can expect chills, thrills, dramatic awakenings, and camaraderies between people, uh, love, respect, and excitement,
Mm,
and lots of blood and lots of horror and lots of looking through your fingers. I just, I guarantee you, you'll love the Pale Door. It's as a film gore. Forget the cowboys and the witches thing. Just as a film gore, you'll love it.
Perfect. I couldn't have described that better. Listen, Stan Shaw, thank you so much
Okay.
for your time. It has been a pleasure talking to you.
All right. It's good seeing you. Take care. God bless. And if no one's told you they love you today, I love you.
Thank you. I love you back.
Okay. Take care.
Have a good one.